y'all? It's your boy Amadeus, Platinum Bad Boy, CEO, producer, multi-platinum producer, and I'm here. And you know I got soul, and I'm locked into YouKnowIGotSoul.com. Hey, what's going on, Tom? It's Amadeus.
Hey, what's up, man? How are you?
I'm good, man.
So, first off, just thanks for your time and, taking the time for this interview.
And thanks for having me, man. I appreciate it. You know what I mean? I appreciate it. I like what you're doing on the site, man. And,
cool,
and I'm glad you thought that I'm doing enough to be a part.
Definitely, man. I appreciate that. So, let me take it back to the beginning, for you. Like, I was reading that you worked with Foxy Brown originally, and that was kind of where your first big break came and, kind of broke you into things. So, tell me about that opportunity and how that all came together.
It came together by actually a brother, Anton Marchand, who was actually the director of A&R at Interscope Records. Mm-hmm. And a cousin of mine was actually his assistant and worked with him. And he kind of, shot me an email, hit me on the BlackBerry, and was like, yo, I want you to come down to Interscope Records to play some tracks for Foxy's brother. She's working on a new album, she's working on a new project. So I came down, submitted some material, what she was excited about. He sent them to Foxy. Foxy liked it a lot, and actually invited me down to the studio where she was recording that, and that was Chung King Studio. Mm-hmm. So got an opportunity to meet her, got an opportunity to meet her brother Gavin. Played a lot more tracks for her, and she picked a few, and that was it. I left for that night, got a phone call the next day saying that she recorded to 3 of them, and one just happened to be a song titled Get Off Me, and at that time she was going through like a rap beef with Eve. Mm-hmm. So she recorded a diss record, to Eve, and got it to all the radio DJs and Format Flex and everybody, and that night I was driving to my mom's house. I'll never forget it. I had the radio on, and they kept saying, we got this it's exclusive from Foxy Brown. It's crazy, streets, be prepared.
Yeah.
And let the joint go, man. And it was my joint. It was a record I produced for her. And like I said, it was a big song because it was, a battle song against rapper Eve, man. So
yeah.
Anything that I ever produced on the radio, first major situation. And besides that, she recorded another song titled Cradle to the Grave, My Life, which was actually the title track on the Cradle to the Grave soundtrack and was also featured in the movie.
Yeah.
That was my first, official placement. Mm-hmm. The soundtrack went gold, so that was my first official gold plaque.
Yeah.
That hangs on my wall today, and that was the start of everything.
Cool, good stuff. Now, talk to me about your style as a producer. I mean, in terms of, I know there's artists who are more hands-on, during the whole process of with the artist making a song, and then there's other producers who are just kind of like beat makers. They make the beat and kind of just let the artist do their thing. Where do you kind of fall in that spectrum?
You know what? A few years ago, I considered myself as as a producer, mm-hmm. and opposed to just being a beat maker because of what I brought to the table. But as times changed and the game changed, it's different.
Yeah.
It's different. So I consider myself to be both.
Okay.
And the reason why I say that is because obviously when you first originally create the record or create the track, it's just a beat. You know what I mean? And so I feel, that's what I am. I made the beat. I created the beat. Mm-hmm. And then when you have the opportunity to take it to the next level and create a song to it, or to get a song written to it, or for an artist to work on it, that's when, you're able to use the producer title. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, the game has changed. A lot of artists today kind of do their own thing. You send the tracks via email. They kind of record on their own, kind of leaving out the input of the producer, and not really creating that environment for producers and artists to really connect and create the song together. So that's something that's really missing today. It doesn't happen on every project. Obviously, the more established producers, Roddy Jerkins, a Timbaland, Kanye West, people on that level, obviously would get the opportunity to go in and work with the various artists that they're working with. But someone like myself who is established, it's just different. It's just different. It's just different. The game has changed. Pro Tools being invented, I love it. But it also it's pros and cons.
Wow.
You know, but I'm over it. You know what I mean? So the game has changed, man. So, like I said, I consider myself both.
Well, okay, yeah, cool. That's interesting. I didn't realize, a lot of people don't even realize all that, what goes on behind the scenes, so it's cool to get that insight. And another role I know you play is is a musical director, and I know that, a lot of people don't even really understand what that role is all about, speaking in terms of the casual fan, but I know it's a big part of things. So can you kind of expand on what you actually do as a musical director?
Oh, sure. A music director is basically the responsibility of handling everything musically in regards to the show. I'm Trey Songz, music director. So, it was my job to hire the musicians. It's my job to create set lists in regards to what's being performed at the various shows. It's my job basically to get an understanding of Trey's vision musically and for this show and execute that basically. Making sure the sounds are right, making sure the band is in sync in regards to what he's doing, calling signals, calling cues. During the show, I'm playing drums as well, so during the show I'm watching Trey as like a hawk, giving, like I said, direction and signal to the band, also making sure that he's on point, and because you can get in the zone and you can get in the mode, and you can be so far out there. That's a great thing, of course. You may need somebody, like myself, to just remind you, where we're going next, or what's the next song, or okay, we're running late on time, we need to skip a song, so I'm just basically in charge of the flow of the show, the putting it together, creating a new sound, creating a new vibe, anything music related is my responsibility.
Yeah, I mean that's a huge role, and a lot of people don't even realize that's going on. When they go to a show, and without you, it probably wouldn't even all come together, the whole show. So that's a big part.
It's a lot. It's a lot, and definitely much love to Trey. He gives me accolades all the time, and he always says that. That's one thing that he says. On stage, actually, I know y'all love me, to the audience members, and I know y'all appreciate me and all that, and I love y'all back, but I can't do this, without my band, you know what I'm saying, and my team, and it's true, man, it's like, it's so important, and I understand my job, I understand the importance of it, I understand my role, and, it just makes life easier for him, imagine if he had to think of everything, imagine if he think of all the songs he needed to perform. This guy, is working on his 5th album right now, so it's like, it's my job to make his life easier when it comes to doing the show.
Definitely. And how did you originally link up with Trey?
We actually hooked up because I was actually doing a song with Mike Jones, and just to go back to what we talked about in regards to producing and being a beatmaker, when I first started on the earlier stages of my producer career, I was actually able to go in the studio. Like, I went in the studio and recorded the 3 songs I did with Mike Jones and mixed them. I went in with Lil Mo and recorded all and mixed and recorded all the records with her in the studio. I went in with Foxy Brown. I went in with Tyler Pauly. So back in the day, I did have the opportunity to go in. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, when technology changed and things started to change, the game changed. So I did appreciate having those opportunities back in the day. So with that said, I had a session with Mike Jones, and we were kind of going back and forth on who we wanted to feature on the record. And we had Marion in mind, we had Tyrese in mind, I forgot who, I think Chris Brown in mind, and we came up with the idea of having Trey, and it worked, because Trey was really hot at the time, just like the other guys as well, but it worked because they were under the same label. Mike Jones is Warner Brother, Trey was Atlantic, and it's kind of under the same umbrella, so it just made life easier. I flew out to Houston, he flew out to Houston, he got on the record, and as we was mixing the record, we took a little break, they had a drum set in the recording studio, and I was like, y'all play drums, and Trey and Mike Jones, they don't play no drums, man. I said, dog, that's how I started, so, you know what I'm saying? So I got on the kit, did a little something, and he was just like, wow, and I just put it out there to Trey. I said, listen, man, eventually, seeing where you're going, one day you're going to need a band. One day you're going to have the budget to have a band, and I want to be that guy. You know what I'm saying? And it's crazy. A year later, after I stayed in the studio, I got a phone call from
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, man.
The stuff that I put out there, wasn't something that I was really prepared for, to be honest.
Yeah.
Obviously, I never was a music director before. I didn't know what it required. I didn't know what it entailed. And I called up a few band members that, expressed, what I was actually do. I was actually willing to pass off the title to someone who has been touring for a long time and work with various artists and kind of pass off the torch of being a music director and just becoming a drummer. And that person who was actually the keyboard player, today Butters, he was like, nah, man, just like I had to learn, and I got it, here's your chance, here's your opportunity to learn and to become, what you can become.
Yeah.
So stadium music director, I'm here, we're here, we know all those ropes, and, if you ever need any help, we'll give you the help you need, we'll push you, and, 4 years later, I'm a music director, still the same band that we started with, and we're doing great things, man.
Oh, man, that's a great story. I like that. Okay, now talk to me about the Hitmen. I know you're a current member of the Hitmen, with Bad Boy and all that. So, we've had a chance to actually interview a bunch of the original members, like Chucky Thompson, Stevie J, J-Dub, all of them. We're big fans of them. Tell us your story about how you originally became a part of the crew and all that.
Right. Well, when I started, I actually got a chance to meet Derek D-Dot Angeletti, who was one of the original Hitmen. And, we bonded immediately. He obviously saw something special in me as a producer and kind of mentored me. Always wanted to hear my tracks, always wanted to hear what I was doing so that he could keep them and give me whatever I needed to know in order to improve, what I was doing and what I was creating. So I always had it in. And one thing about me, I knew the importance of relationships. I knew the importance of and the power of knowing people and connected to them. You know what I mean? So I was always in label meetings. I was always trying to find out ways to get email contacts, and I wasn't scared or ashamed to reach out to people, let people know what I did, and try to meet up with them. And I got into Bad Boy with D-Dot. Got a chance to meet Hard back in the day, and Conrad, who was the A&R, and got to hang around Puff for a little bit. Not too close, but just in the mix. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Everybody was pretty much familiar with who I was. I always submitted music to them, and I just, was always on their radar. And when the opportunity, presented itself in regards to me need management, producer management, we all sat down and figured it out, and everybody was comfortable with it, everybody was happy with it, and I locked in, signed on the dotted line, and became a Bad Boy Hitman, and it was just history after that.
Cool, good stuff.